Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Set the Pipe. I am Sully on another episode, and we have Suitcase here, and we have Bear. Today, we have a unique guest, I guess, athlete, stud, as far as I'm concerned. Beautiful. Anyway, my daughter, Teagan Sullivan, is going to join us today on Set the Pipe. Fellas, welcome, Teagan.
Hi, Teagan.
Hi, Teagan. Glad you made it.
Thanks for being on Set the Pipe.
Glad you made it.
Glad you made it.
Great point. Been struggling over here with some technical difficulties. Going to give it a best shot today.
So we have Teagan on and go over some accolades. But before we came on, we were talking about St. Jude Hospital, Research Cancer Hospital for Kids, and how we were talking about Teagan's schedule. So I was telling Bear I'm a Harley rider, and by the end of the year, we do some fundraising throughout the year, and we go down to Memphis and we present them a check. Last year, it was 250 bikes, motorcycles going down to Memphis, nonstop. We have police escort going all the way down. It takes us 2 days to get there. Wow. And last year we presented them with $1 million plus. And then Teagan is doing something new this year. What are you doing, T?
I'm doing the Dunlap to St. Jude Peoria run. Dunlap to Peoria St. Jude run.
What's that mean?
I have to raise, as an individual, I have to raise at least $1,000, which goes to my team. So I'm running for Team Tessa, and it goes to my team, and we present a big check at the end of the night. I don't have to run. It's 30 miles in length. And so I can choose when I run. I can choose when I want to sit on the bus and all that stuff. So I have to be up really early tomorrow morning for it.
How far are you planning on running?
I have no idea. I have not planned at all, which I probably should have, but I haven't. So
she's not a distant kid.
No.
That's for sure.
But you're a track athlete, though, so you can run a little bit. Right?
Yeah. And it's not a fast pace or anything like that. It's really slow. So I think I can.
But you're a jumper, right?
Yeah.
It's not that it's not a track athlete. It's not that you don't run, but jumping's a tad different. You're not out just going running, 5,800s and then 2,400s and a bunch of 200s just to get, you're doing something different, I would assume. Yes, but wow, 30 miles, 1 mile is enough for me at that point.
That's what I've been saying.
So, Team Tessa, tell us a little bit about
that. Team Tessa was created when my friend Tessa Sutton was diagnosed with cancer in 2021. She's my age, so she would have been 19 by now. She passed away her junior year of high school, and they made this foundation. She made this foundation that people raise money for, and it all goes towards people in the hospital, St. Jude, other things like that. And so every year for the St. Jude run, they have a Team Tessa, because you can make teams, so you can run in teams. And so there's like Team Dylan, there's Team Tessa, and there's a few others. So I'm running for Team Tessa this year.
That's awesome. What a great cause too.
Yep. Yeah. Tessa Sutton Foundation is what they created before she passed. I was given the honor of being a pallbearer of hers when she passed away. So it's a big hit to the community. Great soccer player, just an all-around great kid, great family. And it hit our Harley riders quite hard. She was actually in Memphis when we doing treatment. Hair was gone when we rolled in. So 250, and she's out there on the side of the road waving to us as we're coming in. And then, she actually came out and sent us off before she passed in the morning before we leave for Memphis. So she was out there, got a couple pictures of her on my bike, and it was a very hard time for everybody around this area. So it's keep on going. So Teagan's involved with that, and we'll get into, this is a volleyball podcast. We'll get into why Teagan was a multi-sport athlete. I might as well get into her history. Multi-sport
real quick
athlete.
Before you do, I just want to say, Teagan, that's awesome that you're doing that, and to continue her legacy. Congrats to you and everyone that's there doing that for obviously the cause, but just to remember your friend as well.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Yeah. She actually, purple was the theme of Tessa. So Teagan still today, even when she's jumping in college, is wearing her purple ribbons, right? So I think that'll continue for a long time. So Teagan, of course, is my second daughter, third child, and successful in high school, playing some volleyball, doing some track, was pretty much always on the state podium when she did track. And so this is a long story short. Started club volleyball actually in 8th grade. So she was a little bit getting late to the game, which was planned so she wouldn't get burnt out. And we can talk about what clubs she did by the end of her senior year. We can get into that. But she chose track to go to college. And as a freshman last year, she was third in indoors and for long jump. And she actually was the conference champion outdoors by 0.01 meters to win it. So it was pretty exciting. That was there. That was kind of nice. But yeah, I thought we'd bring on Teagan a little bit, talk about her journey through volleyball, even through sports, because I know we all like to talk about the different sports and how it works and all that kind of good stuff. And then we took a little bit of a different route for club volleyball. So I know I talked to you guys a little bit about Teagan, and you guys, yeah, fire away. She's all here. So this is my daughter, Teagan Sullivan.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. 2 questions, or one statement, then one question to you. One is, to hear you say she started in 8th grade and she's a late bloomer is amazing. I mean, I didn't even start till high school. Kids are playing so young. It's good and bad. We talk about it all the time. I just wanted to mention that statement. She's we'll let her tell the story about what she's going to do in college, but she's a collegiate athlete and she started late in 8th grade. It's amazing. Second thing about it is, do you know how your dad played? Do you know his story and his history of volleyball, what he did in college and, all of that stuff?
Well, I know he was really connected through everybody. I know he played for Long Beach State, and they won the national championship and all that. So I'm fully aware of that. And it's really exciting to have that in my family. I think it's helped a ton, especially with his knowledge and what he learned and what he can apply to coaching. And whether it's me or other people, I get to watch that and I get to take that in, especially when he would do private lessons all the time. And so I would go just hang out with them, and it helped me a lot. So if I'm at practice or anything, like, I can pocket those ideas that he tells other people. So I think his experience in volleyball has really helped me. And yeah, so if we're at a volleyball tournament, he will be like, hey, let's go to court 67. Mind you, we're on court 108. It's like, let's go to court 67, and we'll go meet some random person I had no idea he knew. So he's super connected. It's really funny and it gets annoying, but it's really cool to see, especially when I see people that I've met on this podcast. I think it's so crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Fun stuff.
Did he we've talked about this, at least on my side, being a parent, like, did he force you to the game of volleyball, being a volleyball coach or a volleyball player, or did you just organically find the game yourself?
Well, when we lived in Boise, he had his own club, and so I kind of grew up around it. But then
stealth volleyball, that's what it's called. Boise, yes. Stealth.
But then we moved to Peoria, Illinois, and that's when I kind of had to decide, like, what sports I wanted to try in middle school. And I was like, I am not playing volleyball. I remember that I did not want to play volleyball. I wanted to stay with soccer. Soccer was my sport for the longest time. I still enjoy it. I still think it's fun. But my dad, well, they didn't force me, but they're like, hey, like, at least try it out. If you don't like it, that's fine. So I tried it out. I've been around volleyball my whole life, so I was a little bit ahead of the other girls, which to me was, I like my ego to be boosted a little bit. So that's kind of why I feel like I stuck with it, was because I was better than other people at that time. So it was really helpful to start my journey. But they didn't ever force me to play volleyball whatsoever.
So what was it like growing up in your family? You have an older sister, Savannah, who was a track star. You have a younger sister and an older brother. Were you guys competitive with each other? Were you loving? What was kind of like your dynamics of growing up and sports and life and all that?
Growing up as just siblings, we were so competitive. we would get in arguments all the time because of how competitive we were, especially me and my older sister. We just didn't like to lose, and we're both stubborn. So it was always between us, no matter what it was, whether it was just one thing that was very a competitive thing was who would get to the passenger seat first in the car. That is what we fought over all the time. And it was a competition every single time. And it still is. If it's like 3 of us, I will always call shotgun. If I don't, I will race you to it and I will beat you. And I'll just say, you didn't call it first and I beat you to it. So I get to sit in the passenger seat. But we were always competitive. I think we've all grown up in sports, doing something, whether it's running, volleyball, basketball, soccer. We all played soccer when we were little, so we would play together in the backyard. Yeah, that never really ended well, especially with my little sister, who is the soccer player of our family.
Mm-hmm. Is that Kylie?
Yeah, it's Kylie.
She is fun to play with, but very competitive too. And everything we do, I feel like, is very competitive, especially, this sounds funny, but our Easter egg hunts every single year are so competitive. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, Savannah's boyfriend came over and we were all racing around the house, and him and I literally shoved each other to the ground until I won. He did not.
I got the Easter egg.
He
Not
didn't.
kidding.
And it was a baseball
video.
Yeah. And he plays baseball. So I made sure I got that and he didn't. So everything, but since we've been growing up, has been really competitive, but not in a harmful way. I think it's been super beneficial for all of us because it helps us just compete, whether it's just for fun or in an actual game or competition or whatever it is. But lifestyle-wise, or sports-wise, it's, yeah. I mean, we would race against each other sometimes. It depended on how our age groups lined up and stuff like that. So we would race against each other, or since Savannah's a track athlete, I see her marks that she had, and I'm like, I'm going to beat that. Like, you can't stop me. Mm-hmm. So, and Kylie's like that too. She saw my marks and she long jumps, and she wants to beat my marks, and it's kind of always been like that.
I think that's awesome. I also think it's healthy. I know some people might listen to this and think it might be, wow, you guys are crazy, but like to be an athlete and to be the athlete that you are, and to be the athlete that your father was and Bear was and I was, like to get to the collegiate level, you have to be a little bit loony. And it's all in fun. I mean, we're like that in my family. My boys are the same. They're too far apart where they never really got to play against each other. But I mean, it's funny listening to you tell this, because a lot of the same things you're talking about, they're like that. To get to the front seat, won't lose anything they can. And you laugh at it, but you're also like listening to you talk about it. I'm proud of it, because that's what you want when you're playing something, when you're competing in something. You want to give it everything you can, and you don't want to lose. And it's refreshing to hear you say that.
You know what's crazy? Bad dad. She's never been to the pyramid.
No, never.
That is a bad dad.
Bad dad. Totally bad. She tells me, oh, going out to Southern California? Yeah, okay. So still haven't been in Long Beach State. I'm like, oh, bad dad.
We need to get you out here. It's a pretty phenomenal facility.
That's
bad dad move for sure. So Teagan chose track over volleyball. But you know, when we say late bloomer, like she was late growing. And why'd you pick track over volleyball? Because you had opportunities to do both. Mm-hmm. So, or choose one or the other. So why track?
I chose track because I honestly since I'm so competitive, I looked at where I could compete at the highest level, especially in track. So I was looking at both originally, where I could compete in track at a high level and then also compete in volleyball at a high level. And I couldn't really find a school that I thought would fit both of those. And I didn't really want to do track. I never wanted to do track in college until my junior year. And I finally got a good mark in something that I knew was Division I level. That was my goal. I wanted to go Division I. Whether it was a smaller school, bigger school, didn't matter to me. I just wanted the Division I title. But Yeah, I really did not want to do track. And then I would say the last two meets of my junior year, I finally got my marks that I wanted. And that's when that's when I started looking at schools for track. And volleyball was still in the running. It was never out of the running. It was always something that I wanted to do. So I would email all these track schools and be like, hey, I'm also play volleyball. Like I reached out to your volleyball coach and stuff like that. But ultimately, I couldn't find a school that I thought would fit what I wanted specifically.
Yeah, she's 5'9" outside hitter. So when you go recruiting, as coaches, you can get into the program that they use and click your filters, right? 6 foot, left side.
Does she jump like you though?
Oh yeah, she grabs the rim, at 5'9". So
no big deal.
But they won't go to your courts because they filter through.
No,
right? They
of
filter
course.
through.
But if you can jump like that, 5'9", 5'10", nah. But
right.
Well, I hear you big time.
Yeah, and so by the time she finished last year at outdoor conference, she's long jumping 19 feet, which is legit, right? So you get a BIC. So we can talk about her club, but they were rare running. They were really trying to. It wasn't like a true BIC like we know it, but it was definitely not a pipe, right? So it was. They were trying to run, and this is when they were sophomore juniors is when they were trying this. So Teagan was used to that. Now she's got a 19 foot. 19 foot long jump now launching. It's a different story, but I said like she was a late bloomer. So
what are you doing now? Like you're preparing to go to college in what, a week or two, possibly?
Monday.
How are you preparing to run track and to be that collegiate athlete?
Well, we get our workouts sent to us by our coaches, so I try and go as often as I can. If I can't fit in my schedule, that it doesn't really bother me because it's summer workouts. So if it doesn't fit in my schedule, I'll make sure to get one in the next day. And if I feel like doing another workout on a Saturday, I'll do that too. We have our lifts, so I lift probably 3 times a week if I can get in. If I can't, that's fine. It's not a big deal. But I like to feel good. I like to work out. It's really hard for me not to work out or do some sort of physical activity. Mm-hmm. So I'm always doing something, whether it's working, going for a walk, doing a track workout, getting some touches in. I'm always doing something. So, and I enjoy our track workouts, which I feel like a lot of people wouldn't say, but I like our workouts.
And how about her older sister went to SIUE? Sorry, Barry. I was going to say her older sister Savannah went to SIUE first. Okay. And then Teagan followed in her footsteps. But yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right. I was just wondering about your diet. Are you conscious of what you eat, or do you just eat whatever you want?
Most of the time I feel like I eat pretty well. That's what I'm really excited for this year is I have my own kitchen, so I can finally cook and make my own food. But when I'm home, I would say eat pretty healthy. I try and find lots of protein, especially in the mornings, lots of protein, carbs. There's some days where I'll just eat whatever I want. Sure. And because I just don't want to restrict myself or anything like that.
She does do an ice cream run for her father, though.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you?
Have ice cream every night.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. But
I used to do that in college. At Southern Illinois, how is it? We talk about being taken care of as an athlete. How is it being taken care of as an athlete there as a track athlete? Do you get
as a mid-major?
Do you get a training table? Are there places where you can go and a fueling station for all the athletes? Do you get those? Not obviously in the summer, but during the school year, do you have that opportunity at school there?
Yeah, we actually do. We have, which is a big deal for mid-major, we have a nutrition center, which is athletes only. And so we can pop in there whenever we want, grab a bagel, grab milk, whatever. We're sponsored by Prairie Farms and First Form. So we have a lot of protein options, protein powders, protein bars, stuff like that. So that's something I know you don't find in many mid-major schools, which I'm really thankful for. Our athletic trainers are amazing. They are always there for you. Track practices and lifts get done later, so they'll stay late for you, so you can get your treatment in. Or after meet, they usually aren't open on Sundays, but some of them will come in on Sundays just to help us recover after a long meet the next day. But awesome. I will say, as a track athlete, we do not have locker rooms.
Yeah.
We are one of 2 teams that do not have a locker room at SIUE, so that is kind of hard because if you, as a long jumper, if I have a practice where I'm jumping into the sand and I have a class right after, I can't shower, I can't rinse off, I can't really change. I just have to go straight from practice straight to class. So that's the one thing that is pretty hard.
So I have a couple questions for people that don't know much about athletics, which is track and field. Going to the fall, normally that's football season, that's women's volleyball season, that's a few other sports. Is that when the indoor track is? Indoor track season, is that also in the fall or is that in the winter?
We have our hardest training in the fall, but we don't start competing until December.
Okay, so it's a winter sport.
December, yes. It's it's like December through end of February.
Yeah. And then the spring track season comes on in late February, March, and goes through May, I think, right? Somewhere
we
in
have
that
about
ballpark.
a week off for spring break, and then we're back at it the next week. Is our first outdoor meet.
Yeah,
awesome.
Good stuff. Hey, T, so this is a volleyball podcast, so I want to talk to you. I want to let everybody know our journey when it comes down to club, right? Mm-hmm. But before we do that, you got a little bit of a twist this year going into college. What's that all about?
Well, instead of just doing track, I'm also playing volleyball for SAU.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
There's there's a very few people that could be dual sport athletes. So I tip my hat to you. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yep, Coley did it. He was fortunate enough to do both. Same thing, right? One the fall and then the one the spring. So it worked out really great for him. So yeah, she's doing the same thing, and she's a little body type is a little bit different. Maybe same heights kind of stuff, but she can play in that level. She could play that level coming out of high school, but just the fact that she's got a full year of development underneath her, she's a different player now. So I think she'll definitely be chasing some playing time this year, which would be great. And I think it's a great experience.
We'll have to pipe some games. And I have a question for you before we talk about your journey with club and volleyball to where you are today. I was going to ask this about high school, but this is a great question for you now. Do you find the training for track, for what you do in jumping, it's again different than running, being a miler where you're running constantly, you're doing stuff. Do you find the trainings to help in different ways for cross training for volleyball in high jumping or long jumping? Do you think it helps, or is it just more training just for your body anyways? Do you think there's a cross training that can benefit for you, or have you seen that through high school when you were training both?
There's definitely a crossover between the two. I do a lot of plyos for both, so I'm jumping all the time. Working on my speed also really helps, especially during my approach or even just defense. It really helps me move.
Yeah.
And even weight training, we do a lot of explosive lifts. We do a lot of hex bar jumps, cleans, squats, stuff like that, and it translates in both. So it's really interesting to see, and my lifting coach is the same for track and volleyball, so he will tell me this is a crossover, great. So you don't need to do, you don't have to worry about this when you do track. It's going to help you with volleyball, or this is going to help you with track. You're still in a good spot because of we do a lot of the same things.
So how do you manage doing two sports, or how are you going to manage? If you're in track season, indoor or whatever, are you going to be able to, or I guess volleyball's in the fall. So if you're in volleyball, are you going to be able to train for track? Do you do both? Do you just do one at a time? How does all that work?
So volleyball practices go from 8 to 11 in the morning, and track practices are usually around 2 or 3, and then the lift is after that. My classes start early in the morning, so I'm there for 2 hours, and then I have to leave, which is usually the cutoff between practice and lift for volleyball. So they lift 10 to 11 usually. And so I'll come back later and lift with the track team. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the track lifts or if I'm going to do the volleyball lifts quite yet. And the goal is to get about 2 track workouts in a week. And if we can't do that, it's fine. If we can, that's awesome. We also have these things called whoops. I don't know if you guys know what those are.
What's it
They're
called?
like a whoop.
A whoop.
Yeah.
Whoop.
They
There
are
it is.
little wristbands, I guess. They're watches, but they don't have a watch face. They're just a band, and they track everything. They track your heart rate, your sleep, your rest, your body battery, everything that you need to know. And so our exercise science department is actually giving us those this year for women's volleyball. So they're able to track how my body is feeling with my athletic trainers, both of my coaches and our lifting coaches. So they're able to balance whether or not I should do another workout, or if I should take it chill, or if I can't do another workout, how intense can it be, stuff like that. So
incredible.
They've already been able to talk about a lot of things. And then I'm not sure, we usually have one meet in December. I'm not sure if I'll compete in that or if I'll get a break, since volleyball season will end of November for our team. We'll see. I don't know what spot I'm going to be in. I don't know how much training I'm going to have under my belt by then, but I think it's going to be a lot, but I also think it's going to be smooth because of the people that are surrounding me and that are helping me out.
Yeah, there's a guy by the name of Mark Jameson. He was in sports performance here at Bradley when I was coaching here, and he's actually the director over there now at SIUE. So good connection there for me, which another eye roll for these guys when I walk in SIUE. They're like, "Did you know Mark?" Yeah. Well, so Mark's a good guy. He's on bleeding edge stuff. So even for mid-major, he does a really good job there. I'd love to have him on the pod, by the way, just to tell us where we're at and in terms of all the training out there, and he's willing to do that. So.
Yeah. And, listening to what you're saying, like, I'll tell you this, at my age, when you get past your college career, it's tiring and it's hard and it's as much of a struggle that tool practice is, or, man, I just played a match and I've got to get up and then I got to go run. You're going to look back and be stoked you did it. And also you're not going from like playing women's volleyball and then playing women's basketball where you're just constantly jumping on the hardwood. You're kind of cross training. Like you said, you're doing different things, but a lot of the same trainings, but they're different actions at the elite level of those two sports. When you're trying to jump a long jump or triple jump, that's far different than an approach. Yeah, you're jumping, but it's completely different. So hopefully that'll help your body out. And then the other thing, this is just kind of a joke for us old men, but I've said this multiple times and people don't believe me, but I believe all of us could play today's game at the way the game's being played today if we had what she just talked about. Could you imagine if the three of us, when we were 17 years old, had something that told us we need to lift more, we didn't need to lift more, we need more protein, we need more sleep? We didn't have that. We went down to the college inn and drank and called it even. So it's actually just, I don't know. I'm just saying me, not you guys, but if it actually kind of helps my case in that, like, cause just an incredible opportunity for you as an athlete and as a young woman that cares about your health and working out, like you said, to learn that, to have a fuel center with someone that can talk to you about what's best for your body, what you're lacking in, what you need. Incredible. And that's great that, like you were talking about your school being a mid-major, you deserve it, and all the schools deserve it. So hopefully they can continue to grow and give the opportunities for student athletes like yourself, that opportunity to just be a better person, better athlete, better overall human being, right? That then in turn helps you with your sport.
Yeah. So during her high school volleyball and club, she kind of ran into what your older boy CK ran into a little bit, but at a high school level, toxic environment, and got through it because a new change of coaches came in, and it was a world of difference. I mean, this kid was all conference, unanimous all conference her freshman year, and then some things happened where then she wound up being on her, when the coaching changed, she wound up being on her senior year. So there's a couple years that you can read between the lines a little bit, some stuff that went down, but she got into some club here, and really, I know good training, I know good knowledge, I know good play, and it wasn't here. So I've mentioned Chris and Kalani Mahi a number of times. Kalani was the head coach at Oklahoma one time, head coach at Bradley, and he was at UNI for 15 years as associate head coach with Bobby Peterson. Very, very good trainer. And I've mentioned Bear and Kalani in the same breath about being able to train athletes and top dogs. So they run Club Iowa, and that's 3.5 hours away from here. And I was doing lessons at Cedar Falls, Iowa for a couple of years. So I was doing 3.5 hours one way to do private lessons. So I would do 2.5 days worth, but I'd have like 28 kids. So I was packed all the time. So I said, T, it's a really good club. I mean, University of Texas, UNI, I mean, they're pumping out these great athletes for volleyball. I'm like, I go up there. Do you want to go? And she says, okay. So they took her in. She was surrounded by some great players. And we would, right after school, I would take her up there 3.5 hours. She'd go practice, 2 hours T. And we go home 3.5 hours. She'd get home 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and kept up with their grades and all that kind of stuff. But it was by far a great choice from us, just from a training perspective. It wasn't a toxic environment. All the girls got along. They worked hard, and the training was just over the top. And now she's getting her opportunity to kind of showcase a little bit now, which I'm so proud of. But that's an unusual journey to do 3 nights. Now we're talking Midwest. We're not talking California traffic or anything. We're talking like open road, and off we go. But we did have snowstorms that we went through and all this kind of stuff. But that was her unique journey, guys. That's what we went through.
That's more than unique to me. That you see it, you hear about it when you watch a 30 for 30, or you get to certain things. First, I want to say this to you, Teagan, just listening to that, is congratulations that you're playing volleyball at Division I college for earning it. Most people can barely drive an hour to practice and complain about it, let alone 7 round trip.
Yeah.
Forget the 2 hours practice, the 30 minutes your dad talked to 3 other people that walked in that knew him from 10 years ago, and it turned into, instead of 2 hours, it was 2 hours and 45 minutes. Then you were hungry and you stopped and got something. So I do it with my kids, or did. I get it. But, I feel like, all of us are such great friends, and the kids, I feel like you're ours. And it's just such an honor as a father and a parent of an athlete to see you put that in and to earn something from it. I mean, you earn something from it for sure, and lifetime with your father, commitment, things like that. But to get it paying forward, where you're a Division I collegiate volleyball player, and driving up there was probably a big part of that helped you evolve as a player. So congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. Crazy thing is Teagan was a teenager at one time. 11th grade specifically. We did this for 2 years, right, T? We traveled for 2 years? 3 years.
Sophomore year.
Definitely her junior year, when I go, I'm not driving with you for 3.5 hours. Not doing it. Here's the keys. And I literally go in the house. I'm like, you need to call your coaches, let them know why you're not coming, or you can drive yourself. So the first time she's like, going off as she usually does. The second time I did, because, of course it just didn't happen one time, multiple times. So I go, fine. What'd she do? She freaking grabbed the keys and drove 3.5 hours all by herself to northern Iowa 16? To go to practice, because I was not going to be in the van with that girl at all. But by the time her senior come around, different kid, so much fun to be around. The trips were amazing. She knew right away when she started to act that way, and was hangry or tired or whatever the case may be. She handled it. She matured, which is awesome, and it also helped her. Junior year she had a rough in terms of being a teenager, but senior year, so much fun to be around. She's been so much fun to be around lately. So, you just go through that as parents. It wasn't smooth sailing. Trust me, it was not smooth sailing. But the 3.5 hours was what it was, right? So it was just part of what we did, and. Yeah, so it was a journey, unlike others, but we did it. Yeah, all good stuff.
What do you have to say about that, Teagan?
I can't deny any of it. Yeah, I wish I could, but I can't. But I honestly like driving to practice by myself. Sometimes, like, we would have Wednesday, Sunday practices, so I would drive on Sundays since it would be early morning. But I'd be up at 5:30, leaving at 6 to get to a 10:30 practice or whatever. So, it was a lot, but I would like driving myself, and at some points I would pick up some of my teammates on the way, because we were all from everywhere, so I would pick them up on the way and we'd drive together to practice. But
those are things you'll look back. Yeah, you'll look back on that stuff and as you're older and older. But then the other thing is, like, when you are struggling at practice, and you're going to, I mean, let's all be real. Like, there's going to be a game you play great. There's going to be a game, like, you can call back upon that and just remember through that time, like, man, this is nothing. Like going back to the gym to pass tonight, that's not getting in the car and driving 3.5 hours when it's snowing outside and I don't want to go. And oh, by the way, I got to drive home 3.5 hours too after practice. So like those are the things, like going through stuff like that. I feel like people don't look upon it sometimes, but it's here and it's in your heart and obviously in your spirit. And when those times are tough, you know, that seems like, to me, listening to what you did, like things would be a lot easier than that. You know,
yeah. I mean, you think about it too, because she didn't go play volleyball after her senior year. She didn't. So we did. I mean, and so, but I tell you guys before, it was totally worth it. Once you agreed to eat that, all those 3 years of driving all that way, even though she didn't go right to the next level, whichever level that was, it was totally worth it from a training perspective.
Time, wait, she didn't go to the next level at that time.
She
correct. Is now.
Yeah. She's at that level.
Yeah, when we went on recruiting trips, I would tell them, I'm like, because most of the coaches knew my background, and I would say, I'm letting you guys know she's a late bloomer. I know you can't see it. I'm telling you, she's a late bloomer. And I mean, from a physical perspective, like she still has a lot more. She's all legs. She has no toe. No, we always tell her, hey, can you go across the street to that torso shop, please, and go buy yourself a torso because you're wearing an X or extra small right now. Your legs are XLs, but your upper body is an XS. Can you go do that? But anyway, but yeah, no, she's, I mean, filled out. I mean, muscles like crazy. Like I said, she's got long jumper legs, and it's just different. But now she's getting her opportunity, which I'm really excited for. And we talked about it. We talked about the pros and cons of it, and I'm like, it's your choice. I'm letting you know how it's going to be, how it's potentially going to be. But she's in an extraordinary position that her track coach is all for it. No reservations whatsoever. All for it. I mean, you got a freshman conference champion, wants to do a different sport. Don't want to kind of let that go, you know?
That's awesome.
But he did coach Savannah. Coach Savannah. He knows I coach track. There's a good connection there, but he just believes in our family. And he knows she'll work hard, and she'll really put her effort into volleyball too. So when those two coaches got together and said, hey, this is what we want to do, it was just kind of magic. All just kind of fell into place. So
great for the school to have dual sport athlete, you know, a female dual sport athlete and two great sports. How is volleyball at that school? Like, have they been to the tournament recently? How do they do in their conference normally? And what are you looking forward to the most about playing college volleyball?
Recently it just kind of depends on the season, on how they are, like what transfers they get in and what people transfer out and stuff like that. And so, but something that really helps with the team is their connection with each other. They all love each other. Like, I was with them for 2 weeks, and they hung out all the time and they did things together. They all went to Target together. Like, it was the small things that outside really helps on the court too. And they just acted like we were best friends for 5 years before it was the first day I met them, and I've known them for my whole life. And so being able to play with them in open gyms has been so awesome. And it's just been, I think it's going to be a fun season. I think we have a lot of talent on this team, and it's going to be competitive between who gets to play where and all that. We have a lot of pins. I think we have 7 pins this year. So competing between all of us and cheering each other on, like, I think it's going to be a good atmosphere. But yeah, I think I'm really excited just to play in the first place, whether or not I am on the court or on the bench or whatever. I'm just excited to play and compete for a spot. And I'm really excited to make connections with this team, because it's so hard to make connections with the track team because it's so much bigger. It's such a bigger team, and not all of us are long jumpers. Not all of us are short sprinters. And so we all have our own different workouts. Like, we're not always together. So I think being with a team is something that I'm really excited for.
Yeah, SIUE is their challenge every year is to get to their conference tournament, right? So hopefully, like I said, when I went to Long Beach State, I'm here to win a national championship, and I was laughed at, right? So kind of Teagan's got that chip on her shoulder, a little bit like conference. Like, no, we'll go to conference. We need to get to the tournament, right? We need to win our conference to go get to the tournament. And that's what she told me before going into it. So SIUE is kind of the mid of the OVC. And hopefully they're trying to change that. Yep.
Hey, so I know you're early in your college career, but what's going to be your major, and what are your plans after college? Do you want to play internationally? Do you want to run internationally? What's in the future for you?
Right now, I'm majoring in psychology, but I'm minoring in sports and exercise psychology. I'm hoping to be a sports psychologist. It's something I've always wanted to do, some sort of psychology. I was looking at therapy counseling, but I kind of steered away from that because I still wanted to be in the sports world. So whether or not that was competing or just my work. And I think sports psychology is so important. So I wanted to do that. And so I finally decided to minor in sports and exercise psychology this past semester. And I'm really excited for it. I like the classes that I'm taking. I'm really excited for my classes that I'm going to take this semester. But when it comes to after college, I have no idea. I have no idea if I want to compete. Volleyball, track, I have no idea. I haven't really thought about it. It's harder with track. I mean, you can go to meets still. You can still compete unattached, but it's harder to get to the bigger meets.
Yeah,
But
I have no idea what.
Yeah, you need sponsors and cash and all that stuff to get into those for sure.
National team or whatever.
I follow it, Barry. You can give me a call if you want. I love athletics. I really do. I watch it all the time, collegiately, internationally. I'm just a big sports fan, Teagan. So I don't know nearly as much as you two because you're involved in it way more. But for the casual fan, I probably know a lot more than most. But
this is the kid that we would go 3.5 hours almost every time we get in the car. Dad, you know that van that just went by? You know there could be a dead body in there. I'm like, oh my God. Like, are you serious?
Let's follow
if
it.
There's a car. Dad, do you see
White
that?
with no windows?
That's a good trunk for a dead body. Like,
or I'd be like, hey, right
Jesus,
there, that's
kid,
where I would
like,
put a body.
What's that?
I said we'd drive somewhere on the highway and I'd be like, that's where I'd put a body.
Yeah,
like,
that ditch right there. And behind those woods, I'm like, oh my God. Like
are you trying to is she trying to tell you something? That's the question. I would have been like, watch my back. So real quick, are you a freshman then in volleyball? Redshirt last year, that doesn't count.
I haven't asked about it. I need to, but
I would assume you are.
Right now,
it
says I'm a sophomore, but I still need to talk through it because we haven't honestly spoken about it to my coaches or anything.
Yeah,
but
I
think I'm
as of today, the rules today, as of today, still are five to play 4. And so since you started your clock and you were an athlete last year in track, you didn't play volleyball. So that should be your redshirt year. It's what happened with me in college when I played football. I didn't play football my freshman year. And then when I went into my sophomore year and started playing football to go along with volleyball, I was back to being a freshman again, even though I was a sophomore in school. So I would assume that, which would be awesome for you for 100 reasons, is you still have more opportunity to play even after track and field if you still love it and you're doing your thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I have no idea. I need to talk to my coaches about that, like totally being blunt, but I think I'm not sure.
Well, she's going to go see him in a couple days.
And play volleyball afterwards and get her master's.
Yeah. That's another thing is that's what I would do. I would get my master's and play another year if I was a redshirt freshman this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, again, I would bet you are. I'm not saying I bet a lot of money, but I would bet you are. The rules, I semi know the rules within collegiate sports, especially women's volleyball. And you sat out the year, and that's just your redshirt year. You get 4, like I said, 4 to play 5, 5 to play 4. They're going to change that soon. It's going to be 5 to play 5. So you're still going to get your 5th year anyways, most likely. So it's going to change one way, but you probably got it. So like Bear said, if you could do that, and especially, listen, you're a young athlete. You went through your challenges, as your dad just kind of alluded to, which I'd love to hear about with your coaching and how things went from good to bad, because it's important, especially if you want to be a sports psychologist or a sports therapist or whatever it would be. In today's world, having 2 young kids or one kid go through high school and college and then another one about to finish high school and go through colleges, they need this. It's a different world. Social media has changed things. The cutthroat business changed things. Money's changed things. I think having folks like you who played, who went through being an athlete and have that desire to want to become a sports psychologist to help young men and women or kids, depending where you wanted to, take that to, through their journey of just loving themselves through all the ups and downs of a journey. So that's cool. That's something you want to do. You don't hear that often, especially since you're an athlete. I think that's awesome. And that's something I think would be a great call. And by playing 2 sports, you open yourself up to different colleges, different, you playing volleyball in a tournament somewhere is going to be different than you running track. You might not go all the way out to Washington and play with Boise State, for instance, and let's say Washington State and San Diego State in a volleyball tournament. In track, you're not going to do that. You may be somewhere else. So that gives you even more of tentacles of people you can run into, people you can call back on in years to come as that network grows, when you decide to hang up your spikes and or your shoes and get into the real world. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. I actually, personally, I see a sports psychologist. So I've talked to her about it and like what drove her to do it and what she majored in, what she got her master's in, all that. And so I like what she does, and she's young. So I think that helps me connect to her more, is that she's younger. And just, I don't know, I think it's something that I want to give to other people. And so I feel like a lot of athletes, you see them major in exercise science or nursing or marketing, like sports marketing. I feel like you don't really see much of sports psychology. So I think it's a good route for me to go down.
So I got a great idea, and your dad could probably help this. Knight thought of it, so maybe he could spearhead it and wait a few more years, and you could be like the I don't want to say the brainchild or the baby of it is. But he talked about, and Alan, so he talked about making it a full major. Just call it an athlete, like the athlete major. And in that major, you learn economics, you learn, social media, you learn all that. And you also have a course of
sports psychology.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just that you're talking to a sports psychologist like yourself with your master's and teaching it or talking to individuals, but actually taking a course to be and understand it from that perspective of a student, or compared to just talking to someone. That would, I think, even enhance kids and young men, like, kids that are young men, young women in college, such an opportunity for them to see it from a different lens as well, from the book lens, from the teaching lens, from the theory lens, not from the discussion of just my problems to your problems, but and then at the same time, have those therapists, sports psychologists helping kids, because the sports business is getting rougher by the day. And so it's needed more and more to help people have peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barry, you going to say something real quick?
Well, I was just kind of wondering, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but going to a sports psychologist, I've never done that. We didn't really even have that, I don't think, when we played much.
Nope.
Like, what kind of tools does she give you? And I don't want to ask like what your issues are or what you need help with, but like, how does she make you a better athlete?
Well, I've been a really anxious runner, like really, really anxious runner, even since I was I was little.
Sports
when I was
performance anxiety.
like 6th grade, I would say, is when it started, because that's when I started getting really good at the 400, and I just ran this crazy time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have all this pressure on me to perform so well. And so it still carries with me, whether it's a running event or a field event. So I started seeing her at the beginning of the school year, before track even started.
In college or high school? Okay.
Yep. College.
Yep.
So I started seeing her at the very beginning of the year, and she's a grad assistant. So she was literally right out of her master's, or she's getting her master's while she's doing this. And so things that we would talk about, things that don't help me that I know. So like breathing makes me more anxious. So focusing on my breathing makes me feel my heartbeat, make me think more, all that stuff. So I stay away from that. Visualization, I can't visualize. If I close my eyes and I try and think of something or think of me performing, I can't see it, which is kind of crazy. It's very rare. I literally can't see anything. So
how about the dead bodies driving by? Do you see them? Just kidding.
No.
I see dead people.
No. But yeah, so I will do that. So instead of seeing it, I will walk through my stuff and still visualize my stuff, my approach, my steps, what my takeoff looks like. I will walk through that rather than trying to see it because I can't. And
I'm sorry to interrupt because this is very interesting to me. So you're saying instead of putting your mind, like closing your eyes, thinking, okay, I'm going to take left, right, jump, you actually walk it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go left. I'm going to go right. So that's how you visualize in a way, but actually doing it for you personally.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what I do. And it actually helps me a lot. It calms me down. So if I usually have my headphones on, I always have my headphones out on a meet, except a lot of the time they aren't allowed on the turf or warm-up area.
What are you listening to?
Anything. I try and stay away from like pumped music because that raises your heart rate. So a lot of the times something that she's actually suggested to me is making a heart rate playlist. So get it from slower and then like beats per minute, slower to faster, the songs. So it gets me more hyped towards the end, right when I'm supposed to compete, rather than at 2 hours before when I start warming up, which I haven't done yet, but I think I'm going to try this year. But yeah, she has so many different things that she's helped me with, and she will tell me what my confidence, like how I should feel confidence-wise, like affirmations. I should be doing those every morning or writing things down. I journal every day, actually. I have an app that she suggested to me, and so I set it for in the morning, in the middle of the day, and then at night to see how I'm feeling throughout the day, and I can journal throughout. So at a meet, if I have a bad jump, I'll log it, I'll tell them how I feel, and then I'll journal what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling like that and why I think I'm feeling like that. And we'll go through that in my next meeting, and she'll help me with that too. And I think that's been my favorite thing.
How often do you guys meet?
Probably once a week.
Once a week.
So I usually do it right, like in the middle of the week. Wednesdays we would do them because it's right after meet, and then it's right before meet too. So we would talk about what went well, what went bad, and then what I'm competing in, how I think it's going to go, and what I'm nervous for, what I'm excited for. And so we really try and focus on the things that I'm excited for rather than just what I'm nervous for. So we try and actually stay away from that. We don't really talk about it as much. We talk at the very beginning, go through what I should do if I do get nervous or if those fears do happen. And then the rest of the meeting, we just talk about what I'm excited for, and we try and focus on that.
Yeah, this is a kid that would run the 400. She'd do jumps, high jump, long jump, 400, kill it. But prior to her getting into the blocks for the 400, it was a complete dramatic, oh my God, I get data, like major, to a point where towards her senior year, I just let her just have her meltdown. And the worst part for me as a coach, I'm like, you just spent so much energy on what she was dealing with, this sports performance, and then she'd get in the blocks and she'd do a great solid time, and knowing she could take off 3 seconds, which is a lot for 400, because she had so much. And then when she's done with the race, oh, hey dad, like she would be throwing up before the race.
Yeah,
sure.
And other head coaches would come over and say, hey, one of your athletes is over throwing up. I'm like, yeah, it's my daughter. She's fine.
She's good.
Know what I mean? Yeah, but it was just those things that she didn't have any, like Bear brought up. She didn't have any coping. She didn't know how to deal with it, right? Yeah. But everybody knew she was, you put her into the anchor at a 4x4, she'll chase you down, beat you, period, end of story. She was really fun to watch, but an open 4 where she had to get in the blocks, no way. Mentally, like, shut down. It was bad. And so now with the help, she's gotten a ton better.
I'm sitting here listening because I love that part of sports, was the mind. It was something I valued in my own self and stuff, but forget me because I talk about me all the time. I love that you're on here for a few reasons. One is you're Sully's daughter, and it's just such a great honor to hear your story and what you're doing. But for 2 reasons I was going to say is, one is you're a college athlete. You're about to be a dual college athlete. You just won the conference in track and field in Division I, and you have struggles. Right? Like you have struggles, and you from the outside, from a kid who's in high school as a junior going, man, I'd love to get a Division I, go run track in Division I. I'd love to win a conference championship. And you're doing it. And you're still having challenges that you need to work through. That's one thing. And the second thing that I love about it is thank you for being vulnerable and explaining this, because it's getting way better in this country, but it's still a little bit of a stigma. You can't go talk to someone. Like, go talk to someone. Like, talk to someone about your sports, talk to someone about your life. There's nothing wrong with ever, and I even say nothing wrong. I encourage people to talk to therapists about anything in your life, but especially what we're talking about today is you being a young athlete. It also, again, goes back to this. You drove 7 hours to practice. You trained your butt off in high school for 2 sports. Like, this is for everyone listening, all the little volleyball, this is for the younger generation of volleyball players. It takes a lot more than you know to be successful in high school, let alone be successful in college. You need to value your mentors, your parents, the people you could talk to, and use every resource possible. If your high school has a therapist, go talk to them. Go help with your sports. You might not have the same issue that Teagan has, but you might have something different, and they can help you through it. Look what it's done for her. So don't ever be ashamed or don't think you can talk to someone. Thank you so much for sharing that, Teagan. Right. And it just goes back to what you just talked about, like how cool when your career's over, when, we got years for that, to be able to call upon what that therapist did for you just this first year, right? Just your first year, talking to daily, working through some of the stuff you just told Bear, journaling, calming yourself down. Everyone says, just breathe. Well, for you personally, that's not good for you, right? Yeah. And so like learning that and being able to adapt to that, I think it's fantastic. And I'm excited for, this upcoming fall for your volleyball career, A, for not playing for a while, B, to be hungry for that, C, to get your chance, and for D, to have all of this mental stuff that you've already overcome and embraced and learned and put into your system now as a sophomore, redshirt freshman, sophomore in college to go. Man, it's going to be awesome. Fired up for me.
Excited.
Yeah, good stuff, T. Well, we've been here about an hour. Appreciate you, girl. I know you're only around the corner because she's dog sitting right now, but we got her all set up for Set the Pipe. But I know our boys appreciate you having her on with us. I thought that was a nice little volleyball angle, and I think it's a good story for other ones out there that potentially want to do it that don't show limits, right? So love you, kid. And I appreciate you coming on Set the Pipe.
Yeah, best of luck to you, Teagan.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, best of luck. We'll be cheering for you. And thanks for joining and coming on. And tell all your friends to subscribe, Set the Pipe. We love doing this, and we'll keep bringing you content from wonderful young athletes to some of us old athletes too.
That's right.